Hello everyone, today we are reacting to Mothra vs. Queen Muto Battle Face-Off in-depth analysis by Goji Center.
Today, the battle arena will...
Whoops. I did not mean to do that, guys. I am sorry. But, there's something I want to say. Actually I forgot. Other than, I saw the new Attack on Titan episode and it is breathtaking. It really changes the entire show. So, yeah. I think that's all I really had to say, so let's dive right into it.
Today, the battle arena will witness an epic battle featuring two of the most popular titans in the Monsterverse. On one end, a titan known for its benevolent nature, but one who will not hold back when it's time to fight.
Right.
The one and only
Mothra.
The other, a female Muto specimen who has seen death, blood, but most importantly, earned one of the highest status symbols within the species, only awarded to the veteran specimens. This is no ordinary Muto. This is the Queen Muto. In this episode, we will go down to the hard facts and analyze their strengths and weaknesses to
But we don't know much about the Queen Muto in particular. I mean, we haven't really seen her in action. So I assume you're going to be using feats from the female Muto, like in the 2014 movie? At least that's where I think it's going. And maybe even the Muto Prime, but I highly doubt that. Whatever, I'll just let him continue.
Determine the winner of this fight. So sit back and get ready to witness this channel's first all-female fight to determine who is
it is the
ultimate
first
queen
all-female
of the
fight.
Monsters.
That's cool.
Before we begin this battle face-off,
sponsorships. You do what you gotta do.
Tactical, our sponsor. This is a 5v5 multiplayer shooter mobile game featuring intense combat, destruction, and as you can see, pretty realistic physics, which is what I love about this game. If you're sold already, go download the game via my link or use this QR code on the screen and use code TACTIME to get 50 Jason shards, an RPG, and 50,000 silver. Back to the game. Here you can customize your loadout to your liking and go out there and light these people up with the weapon of your choice. Or you could be like me and hop in a car and just squish them. It looks like fun here, but it's more fun when you're actually playing. There are many game modes to play.
I'll have to check it out. Hold on, let me scan that.
Some of these maps will even throw zombies at you. If you get good enough and want to further disrespect your enemies, this game gives you several ways to do just that. I know. It's great, isn't it? So if you don't want to miss out on all the fun and support the channel at the same time, you can find the QR code right here, and the link is in the description. And make sure you use
with
the
QR code.
To receive 50 Jason shards, an RPG, and 50,000 silver to
I might make a video on that in the future. Who knows?
I really enjoyed playing this, and so will you. Thanks to Tactical for supporting this channel. And now, let's get back to our battle face-off.
Already downloaded it. It's installing right now.
In order to proportionately size up these monsters and simulate an accurate fight, we first need to understand their corporal builds and the first battle attribute, resistance. Mothra, or also known as Titanus Musura, is a massive winged kaiju who evolved from the Lepidopteran order of giant insects, more specifically, moths. For this battle, we will not be using the larval form. At first glance, this monster looks quite massive. But by measuring it up close, we find that this animal's actual body is around a mere 52 feet in height.
Damn.
Its wings, however, cover a wingspan of over 803 feet, dwarfing the area coverage of its opponent. This creature's body was protected with a chitinous armor that covered its entire body, serving as a durable exoskeleton for a titan of this size. Similarly, the Queen Muto was also covered in an exoskeleton. But it's important to note
I have no idea who's going to win this.
Also contain an endoskeleton, further strengthening its body. But how big were these? We know that female Mutos measure approximately 300 feet in height, and there is no official mention that Queen Mutos are considerably larger than the standard female specimens. In this simulation, we will account for the spiked formations along its back, subtly increasing its overall height to around 310 feet. So, which of these titans is better built to fight? Taking into account that there is a stark difference in the amount of mass that these creatures bring to this battle. The Queen Muto is seemingly built to be able to withstand more damage from its opponent. For this reason, in this round, the edge for resistance and corporal build will go to the Queen Muto.
As I thought.
Battle experience. In
Oof.
this particular face-off, we
Damn.
will use battle experience as a fair indicator of these titans' level of battle intelligence. Note that both of these particular specimens are extremely battle-hardened titans. Yes,
Right.
both. Let's begin with Mothra. In
Mm-hmm.
the Monsterverse lore, it is explained that Mothra has a particular ability that singles it out from all other titans. Reincarnation.
Yes,
This is
reincarnation.
defined as the recurring process of coming back to a living state after
I'd
death.
love to see
But this
Mothra
doesn't
return
end
in the
here.
future.
After Mothra resurrects, it will still hold the
I was gonna
memories
say
of
in
the
the show,
previous
but
Mothra incarnations.
I don't think
All of
so.
them. Meaning that any
Maybe,
battle
like,
experience picked up by
in a
every
future
single
film.
Mothra in existence is now housed inside
Dude,
this current
imagine if she
specimen.
got a solo
This
film.
is possible due to
That would be
Mothra's habit
cool.
of laying an egg before going out to
A
fight other
Rodan
kaiju.
solo
If it
film as
dies,
well.
then the next Mothra will
I'd kill
hatch.
to see
Going
that.
back in time, we see that Mothra has faced an array of titans before, including Ghidorah and
Yep.
even the Kong species.
Oh,
This
holy shit.
compilation of knowledge and experience gained throughout millions of years will be used against its opponent. But how does the Muto compare? Let's make something very clear. You don't just turn into a Queen Muto after winning one fight.
Of
This
course
mark
not.
of superiority is earned with blood. It is mentioned that this particular Muto specimen is very old and experienced. This is
Yeah.
notable from the obvious markings and scarring of this Muto specimen. This means that the Muto
I
had to
never
endure
noticed
a
the
continuous
scars.
amount of combat throughout its life. If you know anything about Mutos, these guys are particularly good at fighting Godzillas.
Yeah.
Arguably the most powerful Titan species in this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, it is obvious that both of these Titans are perhaps
I
some
mean,
of the
I'm
most
pretty sure the
battle-hardened
Ghidorahs are
creatures
more
in the
powerful,
Monsterverse.
but if you
Both
mean
with
like most
plenty of
powerful Titans
opportunities
on
to
Earth,
fight
then
very
yeah,
dangerous
Godzilla's.
kaiju, making this a draw in battle experience.
Fair enough.
Locomotion. When it comes to
Mothra?
locomotion, we will take
Wait,
into
no, this is
account
locomotion,
how
not
fast and
speed.
how agile their movements are.
Oh,
In Godzilla,
then
King of the
probably
Monsters, we
Mothra.
see Mothra moving at very high speeds when she joined the fight against Ghidorah and Rodan. Her preferred method of locomotion is obviously flight. In 2019, Mothra joined the fight while airborne, rapidly flying past Ghidorah while avoiding any terrestrial melee combat. We can assume that Mothra will use this same methodology against Queen Muto, as it
Yeah.
would not make any sense
Yeah.
for Mothra and Muto to engage in an exclusively terrestrial encounter. The Queen Muto,
Duh.
on the other hand, or all female Mutos for that matter, are limited to ground locomotion, even though they are
Right.
technically capable of moving faster sporadically for short periods of time. This speed and ground maneuverability is practically useless against a Titan that can move on both the X and Y axes.
Yeah.
In this battle, this attribute will be something Mothra will have to exploit to avoid getting killed. Therefore, Mothra takes the edge when it comes to locomotion. Overall strength.
Muto?
In this particular face-off, strength will be the attribute to determine which of these titans can kill the other and how fast. Let's go back to the corporal comparison. We see here that in terms of body composition, the Queen Muto far outweighs Mothra in both external and internal aspects.
Right.
This includes musculature and armor. In King of the Monsters, we witnessed Mothra literally getting ragdolled by Rodan in midair against other tall structures. After further observation, Mothra really never displayed any signs of physical pushback against Rodan,
Right.
suggesting that against an even larger foe, Mothra would struggle to inflict significant shock damage to its opponent. If you saw one of
Obviously.
our previous face-off videos featuring the male Muto, you
Oh,
would have
yeah,
already learned
that was a
Muto
stomp.
species are exceptionally strong. In 2014, we witnessed a smaller male Muto specimen drag a Russian Typhoon-class submarine many miles inland.
Yeah.
Based off of these feats, we can assume that the much larger specimens, let alone a
Yeah,
Queen
Rodan-
Muto, would be
Rodan
more than
just
capable of
stomped the
inflicting
male
killer
Muto.
blows backed up by this immense
Like,
level of
in that
strength.
video.
Because this is a female, this particular sex in this species is much more bulkier than its male counterpart, making it
Yep.
obvious that for this combat attribute, the Queen Muto takes the edge in overall strength. Auxiliary weaponry. This flying titan is equipped
This
with
is-
weapons that can
I don't
potentially
know.
handicap its opponents in two different ways. The first weapon that we will discuss is its silk attack ability. This is when Mothra spits a wide web out of its mouth, which is strong enough to ensnare or tangle even the largest of titans. But in order to use this weapon effectively, Mothra will have to come somewhat close to its opponent in order to successfully cover the titan with this silk. How strong is it? Silk is a
Yeah.
natural fiber made out of special proteins which are produced inside certain insects such as silkworms and spiders. If you didn't know, silk is one of the strongest and most resistant materials in the world. According to some studies, it has been revealed that silk is proportionally 5 times stronger than steel. You heard that right. 5. Looking back on how Mothra managed to successfully trap 2 of Ghidorah's heads, we see that the only reason they were set free was thanks to Godzilla, who just destroyed the building altogether. Had Godzilla not intervened here, Ghidorah would have had a much harder time getting free. Mothra's abilities do not end here. These wings have the capability of glowing thanks to the natural phenomenon known as bioluminescence. These can glow in different color schemes, but the most powerful and damaging would be its God Ray ability. Beta wave light that is capable of blinding an opposing kaiju and dissipating strong winds in any direction, making this ability a highly disorienting tool for Mothra. All Muto species have a special ability commonly known as an
blast.
EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. This pulse is a disturbance that affects electrical circuitry and other energy-transmitting elements. But will these affect Mothra's bioluminescence?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
To answer this, we need to know how this phenomenon works. In the real world, most, if not all, bioluminescent animals and bacteria are able to emit light thanks to an element known as luciferin. When this element reacts with oxygen, it produces light. This chemical reaction is what you see whenever a firefly glows in the dark. Similarly, this giant insect's bioluminescence is created in the same way. Not by electrical means, but by chemical reactions, which in this case are immune to EMPs. Mothra's 2 abilities can 1. Handicap an opponent's limbs, and 2. Blind them. While the Muto's EMP is basically harmless to Mothra, giving her the edge for auxiliary weaponry.
Alright.
Melee weaponry. Both of these titans have similar weapons that are used in relatively the same way, but at different scales. Both Mothra and the Queen Muto have forward-facing limbs tipped with sharp spikes. Both have been seen to make lethal impacts to an opponent, and in the Muto's case, draw blood when fighting the G-Man. But whose weapons are deadlier? By measuring the size of both of these weapons, we see that the Queen Muto not only has the bigger weapons, but also has the greater range, meaning that each impact will come packed with enough centrifugal force to possibly even impale Mothra with a single strike. But Mothra doesn't just have sharp forelimbs, she also has a stinger. This retractable weapon is housed in this titan's rear
Somehow
abdomen.
Rodan
Fully
didn't
exposed,
die from
this
that.
stinger seemingly has the capability to pierce deep, as it was shown in King of the Monsters to effortlessly impale Rodan's chest, or shoulder. Note that it is not officially mentioned that this stinger can inject any venomous agents, but even if it didn't, this thing is long enough to reach some of Muto's vital organs. That's if the Muto lets Mothra get close enough. But is this stinger enough to win the edge? The answer is found in these weapons' effectiveness. While Mothra can arguably inflict damaging blows to the Muto, it's only fair to acknowledge that a single impact of one of these massive Muto claws is more than enough to one-shot a small titan like Mothra, whereas it will take more effort to use and deploy these weapons effectively against a much larger opponent. For this reason, the Queen Muto takes the edge when it comes to melee weaponry.
I had the feeling.
X Factor. Earlier in this video, we discussed how Mothra lays eggs prior to going out and putting herself at risk and possibly dying. This makes it possible for her to come back to life, along with her previous memories and experience. But this has an additional effect to her fight methodology. It was mentioned by official sources that because Mothra is able to reincarnate, she has, over time, lost her fear of death. Meaning that Mothra will bear this in mind when fighting the Queen Muto. The idea of getting killed will not be daunting enough for Mothra to think twice before making a bold move. Mutos are animals instinctually driven to terraform the surrounding biome, breed, and look for radiation sources. Female Mutos' maternal instincts are more finely tuned since this species exists to reproduce. Meaning that if this Muto engages in combat during its reproductive stage, it will become even more aggressive, making fighting this Muto all the more dangerous. We are now ready to reveal who will be the winner of this fight. Mothra, with its light and agile build, wins the edge in locomotion and auxiliary weaponry.
They are built.
The Queen Muto, with
They are
her
built
massive
so
build,
different.
wins the edge in resistance, overall strength, and melee weaponry. Both of these titans are equal in the critical attribute of battle experience. By compiling all of our data, we determined that Mothra would be the close winner of this fight. But it can depend on a few things. Let us explain. Although the Queen Muto's stats looked as if she would win this fight, the attributes that carried more weight in this battle were these two: battle experience and locomotion. In close range, Mothra would not stand a chance against the Queen Muto,
Right.
since we discussed that it would only take one blow to take down this smaller titan. So, how did it win? It does not take a genius to realize that facing a much larger titan head-on would get you killed. Mothra's approach to this battle would be obvious. Keep your distance and wait for the right moment to strike. It just so happens that Mothra is equipped with the tools to allow her to get up close and strike a lethal blow. First, Mothra's blinding God Ray ability would be used to disorient the Muto, of course, at a safe distance, allowing Mothra to be able to get close enough to repeatedly ensnare the Muto's limbs until they are practically motionless. After Muto's limbs aren't able to protect her any longer, Mothra would now find an opening on Muto's only vulnerable spot. Its nice, flat, exposed head. And by using its limbs to grapple onto this giant beast, it will now place itself in a perfect position to insert its stinger close to its brain or brain stem, paralyzing and killing the Muto in an instant.
Fatality.
The other unlikely scenario would involve Mothra haphazardly
I had
getting
to do
too
that.
close to the Queen Muto and getting one-shotted
And
by
that
those
did
massive
not
claws.
sound as good as I
But
wanted it to.
realistically, Mothra wouldn't be stupid enough to let that happen.
Right.
Having said this, it is obvious that both of these titans are capable of killing each other, but the title of Queen isn't just earned by strength. It's earned by knowing how to use it. What do you think a battle between Queen Mothra and Queen Muto would look like? Do you agree with this analysis?
Oh, yeah,
Did you know
definitely.
that if you don't subscribe to Goji Center, Rodan will pull up and destroy your whole house and your neighborhood? Just kidding, but seriously.
But, like, I'm already subscribed, so what happens to me?
You should subscribe.
I'm sure you'll
See
knock
you
in
in the
my
next
door
video.
just to say thank you. Alright, that'll do it for this reaction, guys. Goji Center, I don't know if you watch these videos, but here, I'm subbed. I've been subbed. And yeah. Wait, you only have 13K? God damn. You are underrated as hell. But anyway, that'll do it for this reaction, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, later.